Hi everybody, thanks for coming on in, watching another episode of Arsenal Fans Circle. Just wanted to say right now, before we get started, hit that like button. It really does help the channel grow. And if you haven't signed up for the first team already, you're new around here, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification also. Well, Mahir and I got the news, did a pre-game podcast on Sunday based around when the lineups were coming out, and we were talking about potential midfield lineups, and then when they were announced we did question the midfield makeup of that team. Granit Xhaka, Torreira and Guendouzi. We felt that that was not the proper makeup, and we felt that probably Dani Ceballos should have been in that team. Well, lo and behold, approximately 2 hours later, Arsenal end up with getting a 2-2 draw versus Tottenham at home, and basically Unai Emery paid too much respect to that Tottenham team, and we should have gone out, played Ceballos in midfield alongside probably Torreira and maybe Willock, although Matteo Guendouzi had a great game, was man of the match and has rightly been called up to the French national setup. But we feel like, I feel like Unai Emery wants to be the smartest guy in the room. He wants to pick these tactics and these formations which are quite confusing, and he's starting to disconnect the lines, not only the lines on the field between the attackers and midfield, which was very disconnected, with no creativity in there to link up Pepe, Lacazette and Aubameyang, and no fullbacks that are going to help us in a creative way, i.e. Tierney or Bellerin yet. And but he's also having a disconnect with the fans. He's starting to put out these tactical teams which are not working and not gaining points for us. Now we can all forgive going to Anfield and losing, albeit whatever scoreline it is, 5-1 or 3-1, or we're going for damage limitation or whatever. I actually think he set the team out quite well on that day, but on Sunday he did not set the team out to our strengths, did not pick the midfielders that's going to help knit the team together, and by picking two defensive midfielders and very little creativity, Guendouzi actually did play very, very well, was man of the match, but we needed a Ceballos in there to help supply the forward line. You could see that we were quite strong going forward. Pepe was kind of held in check a little bit by Danny Rose. He's still acclimatizing to the Premier League, so he's going to take a little while, but we do need Pepe to get a goal to get him up and started. Nothing to get worried about yet. It's just basically his second full game, so that will come. But we had our talisman, Lacazette, score a goal just before halftime, which I feel prevented Unai Emery from feeling the urge to make changes early in the second half, something we saw a lot last season. Now Unai Emery is starting to disconnect to the fans as well. He's putting out some very strange lineups, in my opinion. That midfield was too defensive minded. Playing at home against Tottenham, we need to be playing our best 11 and going forward. I remember back in the day, back in George Graham days, we would play the same 11 week in, week out, and not worry about who we're playing. We just go out and try to win the game, and that's what Unai Emery needs to do. The formation of 4-3-3 was quite confusing, and it just created havoc within our team. Everyone was trying to compensate for the deficiencies in how we were playing in midfield, which led to the first goal with Socrates going into midfield to try and win a header when Granit Xhaka was already there, and it just created confusion, and Socrates was not there at the end of that move to stop Eriksen from scoring into an empty net. And then of course the cardinal sin of a two-footed challenge in the penalty box with Granit Xhaka. This player is costing Arsenal points last season. He's costing Arsenal points this season. And you know, people have said, why criticize Granit Xhaka? Well, he does make mistakes, which leads to loss of points. And I think in the last 2 years, he is the player who's created lost most points through mistakes outfield. So I think we should basically settle more in a 4-2-3-1 formation with some creativity in that number 10 position to supply Pepe and Aubameyang on the flanks. We are thankful that we had a very good reaction and came back just before halftime through Alexandre Lacazette taking 2 wonderful touches in the penalty box to get past Alderweireld, I think it was, and with his left foot hit a very strong shot up into the corner of the net, top of the net, via Hugo Lloris's shoulder, just very slightly. And then in the second half, through probing Guendouzi, who played very well, finding Aubameyang so he could toe poke into the net. We did try to get the winner, and unfortunately and correctly, VAR did rule out our goal because Kolasinac needed to look across the line, hold his run and stay onside. But we go forward, we have 1 point from 6, but I believe it was an avoidable draw. We definitely dropped 2 points there. The season was early. I really wanted 9 points out of 12 from this first 4 games, but we are nicely placed. Getting Tierney back and Bellerin back later this month actually, and Rob Holding will definitely help the team move forward. And yeah, keep watching. We are going to have those pre-game podcasts, so come and join us as we announce the lineups. We talk about what's happening on the match day, and of course we will have our usual podcast afterwards. So if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe and sign up for the first team, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks.